Good morning.
Good morning, Taryn. How are you this fine day?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing great, doing great. So,
Awesome.
what's the topic for today?
Um, Lately we're getting questions about like lots of customer ask that. That's why I thought that we should address this question. So it's about heated floors.
Right,
So people are more concerned like which kind of flooring they should use on the heated floors
okay,
so they don't face any issue in the future.
right.
So that's a topic for today.
Perfect. So, I guess when they say what type of floors, do they mean like what brand? Do they mean what construction? Do they mean like carpet versus tile?
Yeah, it's not about brand. People are not more concerned about brand. The first step they think of is like if they're interested in most of the people they already like made their mind which kind of flooring they need
Right.
when they are in the store. So they are like, what kind of tile you have that can go on heated floors?
Okay. Okay, perfect. And now, again, I would like to, so there's, I'm sure there's probably more now, but that's called two different types of heating systems, right? The hydronic, or the one with the tubes of water that go through, or glycol or whatever. And then there's the electrical heat, right?
Yeah.
So, again, the hydronic heat, that's a plumber thing. That's way too technical for my little flooring brain to be able to comprehend. But the electrical heat is something that we do deal with, okay? Now, again, to go back to that, older systems operate at a higher temperature than current systems, right? So, and I forget some of the exact numbers that they used to run crazy hot, so it would actually cause damage to flooring. Whereas I believe the new ones now, like the main one we're using is Dietrich heat, right?
Yeah.
It's great because it's a mixture of uncoupling membrane and the heat in there, right?
Mhm.
That I think the maximum temperature reaches is 85 or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which meets and or exceeds pretty much what we need. So for tile, if somebody's to say, what kind of tile can I put on top of heat? What would your answer be?
Um, what I have researched and what I have like asked you and others in the store. So I think that porcelain tile is like good.
Uh-huh.
Like as we use it on floor, so porcelain is the only tile that can go on floor.
Yeah.
So I think it's ideal. Uh, I didn't know that there are like two types of heating system.
Hmm.
You just told me. I just thought it's just the electrical system.
Right.
That's the most recent one, and I think most of the people use that these days.
Well, especially if they're asking a flooring store, right? They wouldn't ask a flooring store for a hydronic system. This is sort of, hey, I have a bathroom. It's cold. I don't want the bathroom cold when I walk in there in the morning, so I want to put heat. In which case, the electrical is a great option for it,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, so I told them that porcelain tile, so it's good for the heated, like it's ideal for heated floors. So you
Exactly.
can use it.
And the Dietrich heat was made specifically for porcelain floors, right? So now the key with it, with the Dietrich heat system that we use, is we don't use mats as much because there's also mats that also run in. The problem with mats is you can't control, right? So here's a rectangle or here's a square. Anything outside of that square rectangle, oh, it's cold. Everything inside's nice and warm. I remember years back, I used to always stay at the Delta Hotel in Winnipeg when I went there. And they had heated floors in the bathroom, which was so cool. But it ran to the point where you're the morning there brushing your teeth, your feet would be off the mat and your heels would be on the mat. So my feet were cold, the rest of my foot was warm. It felt so warm. It was like, you spent all this time and money on this. Why didn't you just make sure it'd be nice and warm, right?
Yeah.
So the key with that is, like I said, there's different lengths of wires.
Mhm.
Now, what we always do is we provide a few different lengths of wires because, again, even if the wire says it's an 84 square foot wire, it doesn't mean it actually covers 84 because we have to go around things and wherever else, right? So we have the installers do their thing. And then what we do is we actually take a picture of it
Okay.
and get that confirmed by the homeowner, making sure that, again, your toes aren't going to be cold or we're not too close to this wall or, right? Then when that's done, it gets a layer of thin set on top. Okay. A, it encapsulates the whole decoupling system of the Dietrich. And B, it now protects the wire so any other tradespeople, anybody walking on there is not damaging that wire,
Yeah.
right? So as I said, the Dietrich heat, there's two main reasons why, well, that's called three main reasons why we use it. A, because it's customizable, okay? We can go wherever we need to go. B, because it's part of an uncoupling membrane, should there be any movement in that subfloor, the idea is the uncoupling membrane absorbs that shock, that movement, so it doesn't break the wires.
Okay.
Okay. And then the third is Dietrich heat, like there are some others as well, is a repairable system. So you can actually pull up a tile, fix the wire, put a new tile down. Let's be honest, you're not going to save that same top or the same plank or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it allows it to be fixable. Still a pain. Nobody wants to do it, but it is fixable, right? It's not one of those things. I was actually talking to my cousin in Montreal there the other day, and he hates heated floors because they always die after a few years. It's like, well, if you go with the right system, you can fix it. Different story.
Yeah, that's right. Like porcelain, that question about tile was like easy. Then there are questions about luxury vinyl plank.
Yeah.
So since it's like vinyl, so we know that it's not like the water is not problem for luxury vinyl plank that much.
Yeah.
But heat is.
Yeah.
So how do?
So and the key there is again that 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So again, we test our luxury vinyls.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Like any 2 millimeter or I think any 3 millimeter product has no fiberglass in the core. Therefore, yeah, it'll move too much. It will cause problems. But the 5 millimeter loose slate with the proper glue down, it doesn't.
Oh,
right? It absorbs. We test out to approximately 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
yeah, that's right.
So if it can take that with minimal movement, it can handle the 85 to 90 without any problems. Again, with the Dietrich heat, with that layer of thin set on top, then we install the LVP directly on. Now, when we're doing LVP, we used to use a different glue from our standard to our heated installs. We've now switched to that new oozing glue, which works for both.
Oh, okay.
So now we don't even need to use a specific glue in those areas. It's sort of one of the same. We're gone to the extreme quality one right off the bat.
So it doesn't create any difference even it's like any system of heating, like you said, there is a electrical and then there's this other one.
As long as that surface temperature does not exceed 85 or 90 degrees Fahrenheit,
It's not an issue.
it's not an issue,
Okay.
right? Because the glue starts letting go around 90, 95. This one, not quite so much, but it's different that way. Some manufacturers really push against luxury vinyls with heated floors, but that's just because it doesn't have that emulsified fiberglass in the core.
Yeah.
It cannot handle that heat because you're right, because heat is the killer for many LVPs. That's why it goes through all of our testing. Like an SPC click or something like that.
Yeah.
I would never in a million years put heat under that. I don't trust their ability to withstand the temperature.
That's right.
So it's the right price. Like I said, any one of the 5 millimeter LVPs we do, any one of the porcelain tiles we do, and realistically, any one of the main engineered hardwoods that we do. Okay, now engineered hardwoods, of course, is a little bit different in that I wouldn't necessarily use all of our engineered, okay? But any one of the Mirage or Lozons with the glue down, again, has to be glued. You can't nail it because you'll hit a wire and that's not a good thing. But yeah, again, you thin set over and then you glue the Mirage or Lozon onto that using a proper wood for adhesive. And yeah, you won't have any problems. Now, I know there's some conversation that specific species might not be quite as suited as others. Okay. But when there is an issue, you just change a board or two. It's not like the entire floor is going to spontaneously combust or have issues that way, right? So I would just rather somebody love the look of their floor, not say, well, I wanted heat, so I had to go with this one. I want them to go, wow, I love it. Well, yeah, a couple of boards did have a failure. GR changed them in the first year. Now we're back to perfect.
Yeah. I know, like, I think that when we are like talking about different species and then heated floors, we're making the process complicated because you cannot like be sure about like this species will work well in this situation. So it totally depends on like how you use it, what's environment there, how you are like maintaining the humidity levels.
Yeah.
So like when you Google it, when you use the chat GPT to find, so they give different answers.
Yeah.
So as you said that, like if there is a problem, it's not gonna like be all over the floor. It's just one plank or two. So we can
as long as you're using the right hardwoods, right? Like some of the Connell series and everything that we do with the Richmond line, I wouldn't use those.
Oh, okay.
Right. I don't trust those. But the quality of glues that Lausanne and Mirage use, the humidity in the air is so much more important than the heat underneath that floor. Right. So we've done lots. And the big thing for them right now of those species, they would just say that hickory, they wouldn't warranty. And they would say, I think the Brazilian cherry,
Mhm.
they don't like. We've done Brazilian cherry. We've done hickory. We've never had an issue. They
Yeah.
just sort of have to allow for every single little thing in there. But again, we step up. If we install the floor and there's a couple of failures in there, we fix it. Now, again, if you use some of the cheaper hardwoods with the engineered, you might have the entire floor blow up,
Yeah.
which is why we would never do that now. So,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I have sold hardwood to many people. Like, whenever they are in, like, they are asking hardwood question, I would like, I don't have like detailed knowledge because hardwood is like a very wide, vast concept. So you cannot like learn everything. So sometimes they ask like, there are less customers who ask these kind of questions because they have researched things or they have
for
already
better or for worse.
or they already have hardwood, so they have knowledge about it.
Yeah.
So they only ask about particular species. Will this species will work in this situation? Is it more stronger? Is it more softer? So I was like, uh, that like it totally depends how you use it. Yes, there are other factors as well, but
Yeah. And the main factor with it is for non-oiled hardwoods, which we don't have any oiled right now, you're not walking on the wood. You're walking on the finish that's on
yeah,
top of the wood, right? So I get calls asked, oh, which is hard, which is more durable? Well, they're the same, right? The definition of durability is the ability to withstand wear. That's not the wood. That's the finish on the wood. Yes, hard maple may be approximately 12% harder than red oak. Awesome. What does that mean? It means when you pull out a microscope, you can see the dent is a little bit more. It's wood. Whatever you drop on it will dent it. Whatever you pull across the lead protector will scratch it. Again, like I said, though, but there are different hardnesses, and each species has a different dimensional change coefficient, dimensional coefficient change on how much it moves with dry versus humid. Again, the key is with all hardwood, try to keep it above 35% relative humidity, even in the winter. It's hard, I know, but try. Even boiling a pot of water in the kitchen, that helps so much increasing the humidity level. And again, keep it clean. Keep it from getting scratched. Keep it from getting damaged. But, my own floor, I was like this weekend looking at, well, wasn't specifically there to look at the hardwood, but I was there. And yeah, there's more dents, there's more nicks than before. It's like a new car. That first little chip, that first little whatever.
and then you
But
get
it
used
is
to
what
it.
it is. I know I can always recoat it. I can always refinish it. The floor still looks spectacular.
Yeah, and every floor gets scratched.
Every floor, whether luxury vinyl, even tile can
Yeah,
scratch, right? Like a high polish, a high gloss porcelain tile, it'll scratch. It's not impervious,
yeah, that's
right?
right.
So, yeah, good quality hardwood, engineered hardwood, a good quality 5mm LVP with that emulsified fiberglass porcelain tile. Those would be the main three. I wouldn't put it under laminate. I wouldn't put it under any click
Click.
SPC or WPC. I wouldn't put it underneath like a 2mm or 3mm LVP. They're inexpensive. They don't work. And I wouldn't put it under a cheap hardwood. And then we talk about why porcelain versus just a standard ceramic. Well, because I've never put ceramic on a floor, right? Ceramic
Yeah.
is for the walls. Porcelain's for the floors or walls. You can do porcelain walls or floor.
Yeah, even though there are some companies, those have samples, ceramic tile, floor plus wall. And when you call them, can you put it on floor? They're like, no, don't put it.
Yeah. Yeah. Porcelain for the floors, baby. That's the only way to go.
Yeah. Okay, I think that answered our question.
I like to think so. If you do have any questions, do not hesitate to ask.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.